Lagos commuters, transporters suffer fuel price hike. Katsina farmers urge government's intervention to help boost agriculture. Tragedy in Jos as kidnappers kill 10-year-old despite 150,000 naira ransom deposit. On the foreign scene, Sahel Alliance rejects ECOWAS timeline for withdrawal. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Now, despite the announcement of a price cut for petrol price amid soaring fuel costs, Nigerians are grappling with skyrocketing transportation fares. Commuters and transport operators alike are feeling the financial strain with no relief in sight. The unrelenting hike in fuel prices has driven transportation costs to record highs, leaving many frustrated and struggling to cope. Here's a report on the situation in Lagos.
With the festive season fast approaching, the strain on Nigerian households is set to deepen. Calls for immediate government intervention to stabilize transportation costs and ease the financial burden are growing louder. Farida Olasukomi, a daily commuter, expressed the frustration, lamenting the lack of progress despite widespread appeals. There is no reduction in transportation fares because fuel prices are still high.
Like I just say, it's like we are just managing. We said that government is going to do anything. Well, I pray, but I lost hope about this government, so I'm not sure they can do anything. This is not affecting most of these people. We are the one that we are going out every fucking day that we are okay, yes. It's literally not easy, but for the government, I don't have anything to say. We hope for the best though.
The situation is even more dire for interstate travelers who are faced with steep costs to visit family and loved ones during the festive season. Ernest Akpan, originally from the eastern region, shared his concerns about the affordability of travel.
Because on the norms, I'm supposed to go down and celebrate with my mom, my kids, but now I'm only celebrating the Christmas here in Lagos because why? I cannot afford. I'm a father of two. I cannot afford paying myself and my wife and my kids. At least even if they currently manage me and my wife to pay, as in my kids, their price is supposed to be low because they are kids. They are not adults. Understand? So the government, they haven't done anything. Even this morning as I speak now, nothing has been done based on the transport.
For transport operators like Ani Baba Joseph, the challenges of running a business amid skyrocketing fuel costs are immense, forcing many to pass on the burden to commuters.
Before it's 1,025 naira, they just reduced 10 naira. 10 naira does not make any difference. It's the same. The cost of transportation is still the same for now.
As transportation costs continue to rise, Nigerians are left hoping for swift government intervention to make travel affordable again and bring relief to struggling households.
Staying with energy prices, the Petroleum Products Retail Owners Association of Nigeria says Nigerians should expect a reduction in the pump price of the product within the week. The president of the association, Billy Gillis-Harry, said from Monday, members will start loading from both NNPC and Dangote refineries at this new price that has been announced. He said the inability of members to sell in line with the new ex-depot price is due to some of them having old stocks that were bought at much higher prices. The Petron boss commended Dangote refinery and the NNPCL for the reduction in the price of the commodity. Last week, the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited and the Dangote refinery reduced the ex-depot price of petrol to 899 naira per litre in Lagos. Delta State residents and commuters are grappling with skyrocketing transportation fares as the Yuletide season sets in. Many have expressed concerns over the sharp increase in transportation fares, which they say has stretched their already tight budgets, making it difficult to celebrate the festivities with loved ones. Trust TV's Jonathan Awaye has a situation report.
In Asaba, the Delta State capital, Residents voiced frustration over the steep rise in transportation costs within and outside the state. Many lamented that the festive season, traditionally a time for family reunions, has become challenging due to the prohibitive cost of travel.
This cost of price of fuel transportation this Christmas is high where we passed before because of say the fuel can't here. And they beg, we they beg so that the fuel price make it come down so that people when want go somewhere they go fit go. Many people not fit travel because of say the price of transportation too much.
The high cost of fuel now makes some people like me, I'm not able to travel to go and visit my people because of the transportation of the people. I'm pleading they should please reconsider the fuel price and bring it down so that we that are far from our people can go maybe once in 2 years or once in 3 years to go and visit them.
I would say it's because of the fuel subsidy in our country because the fuel is too high, which affects the transportation in our country. So that is what caused the increase of money in our transportation.
Travelers noted that fares for a trip from Asaba to Ughelli have surged from 5,000 naira to 7,500 naira, while the cost of traveling to Onitsha in nearby Anambra State has jumped from 800 naira to 2,000 naira. They called on President Bola Tinubu's administration to urgently address the economic policies affecting the transportation sector and ease the burden on Nigerians during the festive season. Jonathan Anwanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
To Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where residents are expressing similar frustration over the rising cost of transportation ahead of the Christmas celebrations. The December traffic has seen a decline in the number of travelers due to the rising cost of fuel. Here's Trust TV's Beatrice Kurutsi with the latest.
Tashan Bama, a major park in Maiduguri metropolis, is usually bustling with travelers heading to various parts of Borno state. However, today's rush hour trips are marked by fewer passengers as the high cost of transport fares dampens the holiday spirit. Abdusalam Mohammed, a driver at the park who ferries passengers to Pulka, says the turnout of travelers this year is poor compared to previous years due to the spike in transport fares. It was much better years back because people traveled a lot, but now people only send parcels or goods to their destination. All these passengers you are seeing, it's because it's the December season. Saleh Abdulaziz, another motorist, echoes these sentiments, attributing the reduced patronage to the soaring cost. We charge 3,500 naira to Goza, but now it's 5,000 naira because of fuel cost. It's very expensive. Passengers are not much these days, but some of us are lucky. Some travelers voiced their frustration, appealing to the federal government to reinstate the fuel subsidy to ease transportation costs.
I could reduce the subsidies now. We are suffering for the transport. Yeah. From year to year, something that we are paying 5,500 naira before, say now 5,000 naira is too much. Yeah, from how many kilometers from here to my village? It's not far. Even Goza, and how many kilometers from here to Goza? It's not far. But they are charging us 5,000. It's too cost. They're supposed to reduce.
Transportation more than salary. So I don't know how we are going to do. Government, we are find way to remove the subsidy or subsidy money. We not say anything, so we are suffering. From here to Pulka now 5,000 before we no reach. From Lagos now, I traveling from Lagos to Maiduguri. I pay 40,000 naira. Before now 12,000 naira. Now it's very hardship with it. So we are begging our government to reduce anything for us.
As the festive season unfolds, many hope that the transportation fares will become more affordable by the time they embark on their return journeys. Beatrice Kurutsi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Parents in Bauchi State have renewed their appeal to the federal government to prioritize strategic measures to help alleviate the rising cost of living in the country, especially as Nigerians prepare for the holiday season. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports on how some families are grappling with economic challenges as they approach the festive season.
Joy and blessing, mothers of many children express their struggle amid the current economic hardship. Unlike previous years when preparations for Christmas were the norm, they now focus on selling food and providing necessities for their families.
You can see now we are a hustler. We used to cook, we have our small restaurants, and you can see Christmas meant 3 days and we are still hustling. Instead of to rest and prepare for it, but we are still hustling. Even till tomorrow, say we are still hustling. Because we cannot just sit and say we are waiting for Christmas, that we are celebrating Christmas. Why? There's nothing to celebrate about it. Because no money, things are very expensive in the market. You cannot even buy anything. Even the children, they even cry for Christmas clothes, cry for this, that, shoe, wait. We can't even afford it now. You are even talking about how we eat to feed them, pay their school fees.
This issue of fuel, assuming the fuel price is down, the life things will be less and be down for person. Forget about all this sharing of spaghetti, rice, all this. It won't solve the problem. The fuel should be down. The price of fuel should be down so that the transportation from state to another state, it will make it to be less for us.
Meanwhile, youths remain optimistic despite the challenges. They plan to celebrate Christmas modestly with whatever their parents can afford, choosing to relax at home during the festivities.
There are many families, they don't have food that they will cook in house and the clothes that they will wear for Christmas. So we are expecting, if possible, they should help us and pay the salary, let us get and buy the clothes and our need, the food that we eat for Christmas.
Anything their parents offer, anything their parents bring for Christmas, let them celebrate and be happy with it. It's from God. There is no anything to ask for. The chicken is from home. So he bought this chicken, you know how he suffered to get the chicken. So it's not that it's very easy to get.
Many households, however, face the harsh reality of going without food, leaving mothers to find creative ways to feed their children. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Barely 48 hours to Christmas, prices of some food items, particularly rice, gari, palm oil and crayfish, have soared in major markets in Warri, the Delta State capital. Trust TV's Jonathan Awanyai, who conducted a market survey in his report, says the prices of foodstuff has increased significantly between November and December this year. His report.
As Nigerians prepare for the Yuletide season, consumers contending with the rising cost of living have been thrown into hardship, a situation that is threatening to rob them of the joy typically accompanying this season. Both sellers and buyers who spoke with Trust TV complained of the biting inflation, coupled with a lack of funds to meet basic family obligations ahead of the festivities. A check at various markets across some locations revealed that food, which is the main attraction of the Yuletide, is gradually being priced out of reach for many average households.
The high cost of food items this Christmas. Honestly, we don't know how we're going about it because bag of rice now is 120,000. Talk of groundnut oil, you know, of it price and from markets.
Food is very high now in this country. We are praying for God to help us. We don't know how the next year is going to look like. Please, government, help Nigerians. Nigerians are dying. The cost of living is very expensive.
Is it groundnut oil? Is it chicken? 3 days ago, my neighbor bought chicken 40,000 naira. How will next week look like? Things are really expensive. I don't know how we get here, but I just pray God help us because I believe in Nigeria and I believe that we can make Nigeria better because the cost of living right now, even the salaries even people that are earning salary can't even afford it.
Traders also complained of losses due to high prices of commodities and blamed the high exchange rates and escalating transport fares as reason why the prices might further rise. Consumers caught up in this challenging situation expressed their displeasure at being unable to enjoy the kind of Christmas celebration they would have loved, citing the increase in the price of food items. Jonathan Awanyan, Trust TV News, Asaba.
To Katsina State now, where farmers across the state are expressing their excitement as Governor Dikko Umarada is set to distribute farm inputs and other incentives for the 2024 irrigation farming season, saying the measure is one of the best introduced by the government to better the lives of the people. It is against this backdrop some farmers in Keita local government area of the state are calling for equity, fairness in the distribution exercise. The farmers who planted crops such as tomatoes, salad, watermelon, pepper, onions, sweet and Irish potatoes are asking the government to provide much more in terms of solar-powered boreholes as well as other equipments like fertilizer and others to help boost their productivity. Trust TV's Abdullahi Ismayamadi has more.
The over 2,000 irrigation farmers here are currently struggling to water their crops with few electricity power generators, which are expensive and non-economical, hailing the initiative of the Radda administration for acquiring solar-powered water supply equipment. As the pilot scheme had succeeded in 2023, the irrigation farmers in Keita are now appealing for its expansion to include more beneficiaries, calling on the government to capture at least 1,200 farmers from the initial 600 farmers in each local government last year. Thousands of farmers from across the 34 local government areas of Katsina State were organized in clusters in 2023 and benefited from the new agricultural initiative of Dikko Radda's administration, a measure that transformed lives of many residents. This initiative is also expected to bridge the crops gap created by insecurity, especially in the frontline local governments, thereby making lives meaningful to not only the farmers, but the generality of the people. This has further restored the confidence of residents, especially in the insecurity-bedeviled communities, thereby encouraging food security and job opportunities. In view of that, the Keita irrigation farmers are appealing to the government to deploy more strategies in expanding the scheme to reach more farmers and simplify it for more productivity. Irrigation farmers everywhere in Katsina State are happy with this development, and the support is coming at a time when it is most needed. Look, farm inputs such as fertilizers, herbicides, solar-powered boreholes, pesticides, and seeds are very expensive in the market, forcing many out of the business now. We'll be glad if we get the government's incentives. If the government can stand firm and distribute the incentives to the genuine practicing irrigation farmers, this will help in ensuring food security, and we hope Governor Radda will ensure judicious and even distribution of the inputs. He has always been a good leader. That is the reason why we believe in him. Thousands of farmers here are hopeful that the 2024 irrigation activities will be the best, especially with the state government's intention to provide incentives to the sector, the best of its kind since the creation of the state in 1987. They say the state government investment in agriculture is being enjoyed everywhere, not only in Katsina State, but Nigeria, hence the appeal for more commitments by the government. Here in Keita local government, irrigation farmers have been crying for the expansion and dredging of Abdallawa Dam for decades, which is the major source of irrigation in the area. We hope with Dikko Radda as governor, our problems are solved. We are also praying for more incentives to ease doing irrigation business. Public commentators in Katsina, while acknowledging the support, are also saying there is no amount of investment in the agricultural sector that is too much, considering the nature of Katsina as an agrarian state with millions of residents engaged in irrigation activities. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has raised concerns over what it described as increasing number of Lassa fever cases and fatalities. The NCDC Director General, Jide Idris, made this disclosure on Monday in Abuja, saying that 1,154 confirmed cases and 190 deaths were recorded so far this year, representing a case fatality rate of over 13%. Idris says 9,492 suspected cases have been documented across the country within 6 states that include Ondo, Edo, Bauchi, Taraba, Benue and Ebonyi, accounting for 89% of confirmed infections. He also stated that the last 4 weeks saw a sharp rise in cases, signaling the severity of the outbreak. He noted that the trend underscores the urgent need for targeted interventions in high-burden states and communities. He also called on citizens to adopt preventive practices and report suspected cases to health authorities immediately. Resident doctors in Abuja have given the Minister of the FCT, Wike, 2 weeks to meet their demands, threatening to shut down hospitals if their requests are not granted. In a statement on Monday, the president of the FCT Association of Resident Doctors, George Ebong, commended Wike for his infrastructure strides in Abuja, but described the doctors as, quote, abandoned projects. He said while FCT minister fixes the infrastructural abandoned projects, the human project is being abandoned. Ebong said the injustice to doctors is alien to the FCT and warns that if this is allowed to continue, the nation's health sector will collapse. He listed the demands as including the need for the minister to clear 6 months of salary arrears owed to the resident doctors members employed in 2023. To Adamawa State now, where Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri has announced the creation of additional chiefdoms and emirates in Adamawa State aimed at fostering unity and meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people. The governor made this known during a statewide broadcast, highlighting some of the steps taken by his administration to bring development to the state. He noted that his administration equally reappraised the value of the traditional institutions and found it highly instrumental to peace building and a major partner in managing the ungoverned spaces in the state.
That we have created more districts and enacted the legislature for the Adamawa State Chiefs Appointment and Deposition Law 2024. Consequently, pursuant to Section 5 of the same law, the following chiefdoms and emirates are created. 1. Kuba Chiefdom with headquarters at Hong, second-class status. Madagali Chiefdom with headquarters at Gulag, second-class status. Michka Chiefdom with headquarters at Michka, second-class status. Fufore Emirate with headquarters at Fufore, second-class status. Gombe Chiefdom with headquarters at Gombe, third-class status. Yungur Chiefdom with headquarters at Dumne, third-class status. Fellow citizens, this creation is already gazetted and now part of our statutory.
And in Anambra State, Governor Charles Soludo has ordered for the cancellation of all the purported election for traditional ruler of Oba community in Idemili South local government area of the state. He also ordered the state police command to arrest anyone parading himself as traditional ruler of the community. According to the governor, there was no election conducted in the community for the election of a new Igwe of Oba, noting that whatever activity or actions taken by the community was illegal and criminal. The Anambra State Commissioner for Local Government and Town Union Affairs, Chief Tony Collins, who spoke on behalf of the governor, says there is a pending court matter concerning the election of a new traditional ruler of the town. Governor Soludo says that until the matter is dispensed with the Oba community has no monarch. Tragedy struck the Rikos community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State when a 10-year-old boy, Tasiu Abdullahi, was brutally murdered by his abductors despite receiving 150,000 naira as part payment for ransom. The boy's lifeless body was found dumped in a sack near his house 5 days after he was abducted. Ado Musa has more.
This alley, just steps away from the boy's home, became the grim scene where his remains were discovered early Friday morning, wrapped in a sack.
It was on Monday around 3 a.m. that we received a call that our child, Tasiu Abdullahi, is kidnapped. So after we received that call, we wait, and then later we received a message telling us that we should send 50,000 naira for feeding, and tomorrow, that's on Tuesday, we should send 150,000 naira by 10 a.m. and then later on, when we are ready to go and pick our child, we should go and deliver 1 million naira to them.
The victim's uncle, Aliu Abubakar Muhammad, recounted how the boy was lured away by the kidnappers on Monday afternoon, right in front of his family home. He also shared the chilling details of how the boy's body was eventually discovered.
There is bargaining that took place. We reached a consensus of giving them 150,000 naira through a bank account and then 150 naira cash. We are able to send 150 naira through account to them. There is a girl which she claimed that she is a girlfriend of one of the kidnappers. Though she claimed that she is not among and she didn't know that this is what they are into. So when they threw the dead body, she couldn't hold it. So she wanted to have peace of mind. That's why she decided to call and report. The boy was seen in a terrible condition because his neck was strangled and his hands were tied at his back. Blood was coming through his nose and mouth and ears. This is how we saw the inside Ghana Muslim.
2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident, but the grieving family is calling on security agencies to leave no stone unturned in ensuring that all of those involved in the heinous crime are brought to justice. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
A mobile police officer attached to 61 Mobile Police Force, Kontagora, Nuhi Ibrahim, an assistant superintendent of police, has been reportedly killed in an encounter with bandits while on routine patrol along Kontagora Bangi Road in Niger State. The spokesperson for the Niger State Police Command, Superintendent Wasiu Abiodun, made this known in a statement released to pressmen after the family of the deceased was presented with a check of 1.5 million naira by the Commissioner of Police, Shuwalu Ebenezer, as support from the command. Abiodun said the late officer paid supreme price on October 23, 2024, when they came under attack by bandits while on a routine patrol with his colleagues. He says another officer, ASP Ali Yohannis, attached to 12 Mobile Police Force in Mina, the state capital, who was injured on his leg in an encounter with suspected bandits around Shedadi village, Mariga local government area, received a check of 1 million naira as support. He said ASP Yohana is currently receiving medical treatment at the IBB Specialist Hospital in Mina. In other news, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court Abuja has ordered the remand of 4 suspected terrorists linked to notorious bandit kingpin Bello Turji in the Kuje Correctional Center. In a short ruling, Justice Nwite made the order after the defendants pleaded not guilty to the 11-count charge bordering on terrorism. Justice Nwite consequently adjourned the matter until February 10 for trial. The 4 suspects, Musa Kamarawa Abubakar Hashimu, also called Dr. Samuel Chinedu, and Lucky Chukuma, denied their involvement in the offenses with which they were charged with the 11 counts when the counts were read to them in court. 8 defendants were listed in the charge, 3 of them, including Bello Turji, remain at large. The federal government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, had filed 11-count charge against the 8 defendants, 4 of whom remain at large. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Muhammad Matawale, has declared that there is no presence of Lakura militants in the northwest region. Addressing newsmen at his Gusau residence on Sunday, the former governor of Zamfara State says the military in Nigeria have neutralized terrorist gangs, destroyed their camps, and recovered arms and ammunition. Speaking further, he said that the criminals are not Nigerians, but disgruntled elements who came to Nigeria from Burkina Faso and Mali to cause havoc. The minister also urged Nigerians to disregard the false information being spread by those he described as enemies of peace and progress. Still talking security, the Delta State Police Command has arrested 4 suspects in connection with the gruesome murder of Paulinus Okong, who was reportedly missing back in September this year. According to the police, Paulinus' brother had reported him missing after he went out with his friend. Efe initially denied knowing what had happened to his friend, but later came to Paulinus' house, asking his family about his whereabouts. In a shocking twist, Efe demanded 500,000 naira from the victim's brother, claiming he would use the money to pay for a herbalist who could reveal Paulinus' location. He later claimed that Paulinus had been kidnapped and collected a ransom of 20 million naira from his brother, allegedly to pay the kidnappers. The police recovered Paulinus' call from the shrine, and Efe had confessed that he had diverted the sum of 30 million naira paid to him for a building purchase and used the funds for personal gain, including buying 2 plots of land and building a duplex. The 4 suspects are currently in police custody.
Come out your shirt. Come out your shirt now. Come out your shirt. This one be the come out your shirt.
Now the head with this. I can't give you for you. I know we carry out. That's it.
You carry all of your hand. Hold on for your hand. Here we carry. May you tell us now which person head will you take?
Now the boy head will carry copy.
Such disturbing scenes. Staying with security-related developments, troops of the Joint Task Force in the Southeast, Operation Udoka, have eliminated 13 armed members of the proscribed IPOB and apprehended 3 kidnappers in an ongoing crackdown to secure the region during the festive season. Task Force spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Onuakalu says the operations targeted criminal strongholds, recovering weapons, ammunition and other items while destroying hideouts, including a shrine used for fortification. He urged citizens to provide credible information to help support the fight against insecurity, emphasizing that, quote, security is everyone's business. The operation highlights other developments, including an ambush in Enugu that neutralized a kidnapper and the capture, of 3 suspects in Abia operating with a stolen tricycle. In Anambra, 3 IPOB members were taken down with arms and IEDs recovered. The force commander, Major General Hassan Dada, reaffirmed the troops' commitment to maintaining peace and called for sustained collaboration with the public to dismantle criminal networks. The second edition of the Southern Kaduna Festival has ended with a colorful display of cultural heritage and a message for socio-cultural unity among indigents. Political and traditional leaders made the clarion call at the end of this year's festival while highlighting the gains of unity in diversity. Trust TV's Bello Musa was there and now reports.
This is the second edition of the Southern Kaduna Festival, tagged SK Festival. Beyond the preservation and promotion of culture, the festival's aim is to promote unity and peaceful coexistence among the different ethnic groups in Southern Kaduna. At the closing ceremony of the 3-day event showcasing the rich cultural heritage of the region, people from different walks of life converged at the Kafanchan Township Stadium to witness the climax of the event. Governors of Kaduna, Plateau, and Bayelsa call on the people in Kaduna State to be united and promote their cultural heritage for good.
As we celebrate our cultural diversity, we acknowledge the significant role that culture plays in shaping our identity and values and inspiring our creativity. Our cultural heritage is the foundation upon which we build our progress, and it is our responsibility to preserve it for future generations.
All the challenges we are facing about insecurity, will continue to collaborate and make sure that these people do not have a chance to terrorize our borders, terrorize our communities. I come with a goodwill message from our people in Bayelsa that we are one and the same people. We are Nigerians, and we are very happy with the way you are uniting and celebrating your culture. And continue to celebrate yourselves. Continue to celebrate your culture. Your identity is very, very important. Do not lose your identity.
Despite the cost of living affecting the people, they however said that the festival is a unifier that would heal the area from the past challenges.
It's creating unity, truly. If things like this has been done, maybe all this crisis, maybe it couldn't have taken place, because they are bringing everybody together, they are recognizing the tribe, the religions, and all that.
We are almost losing our culture, and now that this event is on, we are trying to promote the culture.
We are here to welcome our visitors. I'm very excited. I'm happy to be here.
At the end of the festival, new Southern Kaduna Queen emerged, and prizes were given to participants who won in different events in the second edition of Southern Kaduna Festival. From Kapanchan, in southern part of Kaduna State, Bello Musa, reporting for Trust TV News.
Staying in Kaduna, in northern Nigeria, where traditional gender roles often confine women to domestic spaces, two young ladies are challenging societal norms by venturing into a male-dominated craft, making handmade slippers. Now, this journey is not just about acquiring a skill, but also redefining economic opportunities for women in a region where such chances are limited. Here's their story.
What started as a modest training program has evolved into a beacon of empowerment and self-reliance. For these young girls, the craft of handmade shoemaking is more than just a livelihood. It's a statement of resilience and ambition. Ni'ima Mohammed Tukur and Habiba Ahmed Suleiman, determined young girls from Kaduna, have embraced this skill to achieve financial independence and challenge stereotypes. Ni'ima shared how her passion for the craft kept her steadfast despite initial challenges. While her mother disapproved of her decision, she has since persevered through hard work and determination.
Most of the time, my friends used to tell me, Nima, can you do this work? This work is for men. Why won't you change business? You have other business. I go to school. It was my father that actually encouraged me. So that's why at times I used to make like surprise shoes for him. But
Through shoemaking, Ni'ima is now able to support herself and her family. For 18-year-old Habiba, her enthusiasm for the craft drove her to pursue it as a means of becoming self-reliant and supporting her parents.
Before this, I thought only men could do this. Now, I feel proud to create something with my own hands. I hope to use this skill to support my family and maybe even start my own business someday. My family was doubtful at first, but now they are proud of me. I feel like I'm making a difference, and I want other girls to know they can too.
Their trainer, Salim Haliru, acknowledged that shoemaking was traditionally viewed as a man's trade. However, seeing the girls' eagerness and potentials, he chose to train them despite opposition from others.
We don't have any challenges training women compared to men because women are fast learners and they obey. When you are showing them things, they put their head to see they are able to get it, unlike the men.
Salim highlighted the challenges faced in the trade, such as rising cost of tools and materials due to inflation. He appealed to the government for subsidies to ease the burdens and expressed frustration over unfulfilled promises from politicians who pledged support.
Like before, if we had to spend 1,000 to make a shoe, now we are spending 2,500. So you see, definitely the cost of shoe will go higher, unlike before.
For Nima and Habiba, shoemaking is more than just a craft. It's a part to reshape their futures. In a society where gender roles often limit women, these young girls are forging new paths, one pair of slippers at a time. Aisha Haruna, reporting for Trust TV.
Quite inspirational. To Borno State now, where Governor Babagana Zulum has urged the federal government to rebuild the collapsed Alo Dam to help supply potable drinking water to Maiduguri Metropolitan Council. According to the governor, the breakdown of the 3 dikes of the dam in the recent floods destroyed many lives and property last September. Zulum raised the alarm on Monday in Maiduguri while receiving the assessment and investigation report on the collapsed dam. He noted that with only 4 months remaining before the next rainy season, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation needs to speed up efforts in rebuilding the collapsed dam. On expediting the rebuild of the 38-year-old dam, Zulum says the state government will push the matter to the federal government, adding that if no action is taken, he will meet and appeal to the president to allow the Northeast Development Commission to take over the reconstruction of the Alo Dam.
This gathering is a very big gathering, and we cannot take any decision. But I want to assure you that immediately after we face the outcome of the meeting, we'll invite few of you. The chairman will invite you that are technically sound to have a panel with me so that we shall take all the options for President to approve. But the most important thing is that as a responsible and responsive subnational government, we will not fold our hands and say federal government is there to do the work. Because you have seen how this flooding has leaned our financial resources, not even that of the state, but the socio-economic activities of the people of Borno State.
The Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps has carried out an enforcement operation to dislodge street traders and miscreants under the Oba Akron Bridge in Ikeja and the Falomo Underbridge. This was announced by the State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources Tokumbo Wahab on X on Monday. The effort aims to maintain law and order in the state and ensure compliance with environmental sanitation laws. At least 8 persons have died, with 2 others injured in a road traffic crash that occurred along the Bende Ohafia Road in Abia State. A statement by the sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in the state, Ngozi Ezeoma, on Monday in Umuahia says that the crash occurred on Sunday along the Muri River axis of the road in Ohafia local government area. Ezeoma stated that the crash involved a trailer carrying chippings which hit and fell on a Sharon Volkswagen vehicle with 10 occupants. According to her, preliminary investigation reveals that the crash was caused by dangerous driving and excessive speeding.
People are still inside. See accidents.
Quite disturbing scenes there. Time now for business with Yusuf Akogu.
The net foreign exchange inflow to the Nigerian economy in the third quarter of the year decreased by 2.97% to $14.46 billion from $14.89 billion in the preceding quarter. This was released by the Central Bank of Nigeria in its third quarter economic report published on Friday. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, net foreign exchange in the third quarter decreased by 2.97%. However, compared to the third quarter of 2023, net foreign inflow increased by 75.91% from $8.22 billion to $14.46 billion. In Q3, foreign exchange inflow increased by 3.01% to $22.89 billion from $22.22 billion in Q2 2024. Also, inflows through official sources increased in Q3 as those of autonomous sources declined. The chairman of Kwara and Kogi State chapter of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Damilola Shitu, has said that 80% of employment opportunities in Nigeria are generated by the manufacturing sector. Shitu stated this at the 11th Kwara Trade Fair organized by Kwara Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture in Ilori. He emphasized MAN's dedication to producing highly competitive goods for consumption, ensuring safety standards, and contributing to the nation's economic growth. He stressed the importance of striving for excellence and establishing a strong presence in the global market and urged all stakeholders to continuously enhance their skills to compete effectively on a global scale. Oil prices rise on Monday as lower than expected U.S. inflation data revive hopes for further policy easing, although the outlook for a supply surplus next year weighed on the market. At the London market, Brent could sell for $73 a barrel. For the pearl basket, price drops to $72 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Let's bring you up to speed now with developments on the international scene. The Alliance of Sahel States, comprised of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger Republic, have rejected the timeline issued by the Economic Community of West African States, claiming it is a scheme to destabilize their newfound entity. At a summit held a week ago in Abuja, Nigeria, the regional organization announced a 6-month withdrawal period to allow the three countries to reconsider their decision after their official departure date comes to an end in January 2025. But according to the AES heads of state, this decision is, quote, nothing more than yet another attempt by the French and its auxiliaries to continue planning and carrying out destabilization actions against the alliance. Their communique adds that, quote, this unilateral decision is not binding on the ESA countries. They had already indicated before the summit that their decision to leave the organization was irreversible. The three countries accused the bloc of, quote, inhuman and irresponsible coup-related sanctions of failing to help them solve their internal security crisis. Mozambique's top court has confirmed the ruling party's Frelimo's victory in an October election, which sparked massive protests by opposition groups who say the vote was rigged. The Constitutional Council's Monday ruling is likely to spark further protests in the southern African country of close to 35 million people, which Frelimo has governed since independence from Portugal back in 1975. Provisional results from Electoral Commission, which has not commented on allegations of fraud, showed Frelimo's Daniel Chapo won the presidency by a landslide, while the party's increased majority in Parliament. The Constitutional Council validated the results on Monday. Western observers have said the election was not free and fair. Frelimo has in the past denied vote rigging accusations. And let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for the latest update in sports.
The Stallions of Nigeria will not be part of the final qualification phase of the Rugby Africa Cup, which is the criteria of qualifying for the Rugby World Cup. Despite a spirited return to competitive rugby after the 5-year ban placed on the team was lifted, the team's campaign in Jamal, Tunisia ended in disappointment. A squad featuring a blend of home-based and foreign players gave a valiant effort in their opening match against host Tunisia. The Stallion held their ground in the first half, limiting the Carthage Eagles to an 8-5 lead. However, a lackluster second half performance saw Tunisia dominate, ultimately winning 34-10. The defeat put an end to Nigeria's chances of progressing, while Tunisia advanced to the final, defeating Zambia 29-7 to set up a clash with Morocco in the next stage of qualifiers. In the placement match, Nigeria faced perennial rivals in sport, Ghana, in which the Stallions lost both halves of the encounter. A shaky first half saw Nigeria trailing 21-5, but mounted an impressive comeback in the second half, closing the gap to 24-19, as it was not enough to secure victory. Nigeria finished fourth in the tournament, which featured teams from Tunisia, Ghana, Zambia and Nigeria. Despite the setback, the Stallions showed flashes of potential and determination, leaving fans hopeful for a stronger showing in future competitions. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
That is our offering for you on Trust TV News Hour tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free to stay in touch by following us across our social media platforms. You can also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching the News Hour and good night.